Alrighty, let's get back into this. Equipment, what you're going to need. Let's say you found your sewing machine and you're ready to see if it works. I would ask the person you're buying it from to show you it works before you pick it up. So you got your sewing machine, you have your material, you have your pattern, and you're ready to start. What do you need? Well, let's take a look over here. Okay, you have your pattern. You've taken your measurements, so you have your measuring tape. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make marks on your patterns where the pockets are supposed to line up, where the shoulders are supposed to line up, that kind of thing. There is, this is what's called a tracing wheel and tracing wheel paper. You can take this, you put your material in under between the pattern if it's like wrong side up, or right side up if it's not waxed. So you have a piece material here and the back side of the material here. So when you follow that mark, such as an X marking where the pockets are supposed to go, you mark them with this, and this will transfer onto that. This comes in different colors. Red is the only color I have left. I'm going to have to order some more online because it's not available in any of the stores anywhere. You also have marking pencil. It's water soluble. So if you absolutely can't find the tracing paper, you can go with marking pencil. I use both. Marking pencil comes more handy for me when I'm tailoring. Chalk I also use, just good old-fashioned cheap chalk. Well, it's like very little to buy one of these. In fact, here's a piece floating over here. So you can just use regular chalk too. The problem, chalk versus the pen, the chalk comes off easier. Or pencil. The marking pencil, it hangs on there for a while, but the chalk, just, you brush it and it could come off, so you have to be careful with that. So we got these done. We're going to get these out of the way too. Get this out of the way. Of course, you're going to need thread, right here, and a bobbin. This is the bobbin for my particular machine. I actually have a lot more than the one, but here you go. Thread and a bobbin. The bobbin has to go into the machine. So we're going to put this over here. Pins. And I've always called this a tomato. That's what everybody in my family called it, was a tomato and a strawberry. The strawberry is to help clean and condition your pen, hopefully making it a little sharper. If the pin's gone completely dull and it's dragging, it's punching instead of gliding through the fabric or the pattern, you need to get rid of it. It's no longer a viable pin. There we go. Now here comes the nice surprise. Oh. Sewing needles for hand, various different sizes. Well, I want to learn how to machine sew. Why do I have to have a sewing needle? Well, let's see if I can find one. There she is. I made a little puffy doll. Right here. Just a little pillow doll. And it was testing out a machine I bought, so I decided to do this. I just used an iron-on transfer, cut her out, flipped her over, sewed her up, put stuffing in her. Here's the deal. You can't sit there and all this stuffing and everything, sew it on the machine. So I sewed it by hand on the bottom to close it. And la 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 la. So anyway, this is one reason you would need hand sewing needles. Another reason? Buttons. If you have buttons and you need these to get the buttons in, you cannot sew buttons themselves onto a garment with a machine or with a standard household sewing machine. So you would have to do those by hand. Here's another fun one. Look at all those. These are all needles for the sewing machine. Sewing machine needles come in different sizes. The bigger the number, the thicker the needle. Like 16 are for denim. This particular pack goes from 10 up to 14. So that would be anywhere from delicates to medium weight. This is another pack of that. These are 11s and 14s. Those are the two commonly bought sizes. Here's more heavy duty needles. Some of these go all the way up to leather. They start jeans. This one just says heavy duty, and this one talks about leather. And then I have a box full of various needles that I've been using over time, but had to switch out a needle. So I have to check them before I use them so they're not dull. Needless to say, I do a lot of sewing, huh? Plus that box went AWOL for a while. Just found it. This is probably your most dreaded and most needed piece of equipment next to good scissors. This is a stitch ripper. Let's see if I can get it to... There you go. This is a stitch ripper. Even at this point in the game, when I mess up, yeah, I still mess up. You pull this out, rip the stitches out, and start again on sewing the seam. I'm going to show you the correct way to use one of these. A lot of people don't realize how to use it, and they use it backwards. So we will go over the correct way to use a stitch ripper. Scissors. And you want them very sharp. Sharp scissors don't mess up material as bad. It doesn't pull, it doesn't... If it's a certain material that'll fray, it's going to fray. But with sharp scissors, it makes cutting the pattern won't rip while you're cutting it, and the material won't bunch up. Sharp scissors, as sharp as you can get. These are, if you can see the color changing on this one, I call these my rainbow scissors. And I got them from, the only place I found this particular one was at MNG, Mr. Nola's Glitter. You can Google them if you want. The scissors were really, really reasonably priced. They're sharp as heck. Don't let your kids touch them. I love them. These are probably the best pair of shears, material scissors I've ever gotten. And everybody in this household knows nobody touches these scissors. Yeah, it's not a myth. We protect those scissors. Another thing you may want is just little cleaning scissors here, or little thread scissors. That's so you can just get the leaders off your garment. And they're small, and they can fit under the machine or what have you if you want to do it that way. But they're great for that. This would be unruly cutting 2 pieces of thread. This isn't. Here's another set of scissors. You don't have to have these right away, but you're going to end up needing them down the line. I always cut my cottons with the Singer pinking shears, is what these are called. See the teeth? Let me bring it up. Yep. Pinking shears. These can make your life a whole lot easier. That's why I have them. But of my scissors, the 3 I've just shown you here, my pinking shears, my rainbow scissors, and my little bitty thread cutter, those are the 3 I use when I'm cutting on a project. I have a ton of other scissors that I don't use for sewing. They're for other crafts like cutting paper or what have you. Alrighty. And there's one more thing you absolutely have to have. The sewing machine. Something you must have. This particular machine, yes, it's a Singer. And I'm going to switch cameras on you now. There we go. It's a Singer sewing machine. I happen to be partial to Singer. That's what I've grown up with. That's what everybody in the family used, was Singers. This puppy right here. Love it to death. I have worn a few machines flat out. These are made for household use, not industrial. I've heard people talking or seen people talking lately. Apparently rope purses have become in trend again. And I hate to say it, but trends always cycle back. They always do. So, they were trying to fit... I knocked the presser foot off here. They were trying to fit rope that was, there we go, too thick to fit under the presser foot. And they were trying to figure out a way to do it. And they were like, well, should I take the presser foot off? Should I leave the presser foot up? That's not something you want to do. So, household machines have a standard 1/2 inch shank, which gives you about 1/2 inch to get your material under there. Commercial machines go up to about 1 inch. It's a commercial machine you want if that's what you want to do. Making rope purses. Do not shove it under here. It's the fastest way to mess up the machine. Break a needle. Sewing machine needles will break. I've had that happen to me. Was really interesting. I hadn't realized the needle had literally shattered until I felt a tink right off my glasses. My glasses are what saved my eye. So you may want to consider safety glassware. And I'm an experienced sewer. That happened, God, it happened last year. It was the first time it happened, but it did happen. That's the thing. So you may want to consider safety glasses. When I sew, my glasses are staying on my face. So, with that being said, we're going to go into making the next video. We're going to introduce you to the sewing machine. Most sewing machines have standard parts. We're going to talk about those. And we're going to give you your first sewing project. You do not need material for this, not even scraps. There are going to be a link or not so much a link, but a file in this up there somewhere that you can pull down, and if you want, or you could just draw it at home if you don't have a printer. As I guide down here, we're going to be doing shapes. Straight line, squiggles, squares, because there's a certain thing you have to do to turn corners, and circles. So, now that you know what to expect, let's go ahead and jump to the next video and get to it.